If you're on a deep spiritual path, you've probably noticed something strange. The more you grow spiritually, the harder life seems to get. More challenges. More loss. More pain. While everyone else seems to be living easy lives, you're going through test after test. And you're starting to wonder, am I doing something wrong? Is spirituality supposed to hurt this much? The answer is no, you're not doing anything wrong. But there are 10 specific reasons why spiritual people suffer more than others. And reason number 7 explains why the universe actually targets you with harder lessons. Stay until the end because what I reveal will completely change how you see your struggles. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like being spiritual made your life harder, not easier? Like the moment you started meditating, praying, seeking truth, everything fell apart. Your relationships changed. Your job got stressful. Your health was tested. Money got tight. Meanwhile, you watch people who aren't spiritual at all living comfortable lives. They're not seeking enlightenment. They're not doing inner work. They're not trying to be better. And yet, they seem fine. Happy even. While you're over here doing everything right and feeling like you're being punished. This is one of the great paradoxes of the spiritual path. And nobody talks about it honestly. Teachers tell you that spirituality brings peace, joy, abundance. And it does, eventually. But what they don't tell you is that the path to that peace goes through fire. Through darkness. Through suffering that breaks you down so you can be rebuilt. Today, I'm going to explain the 10 reasons why extremely spiritual people often suffer more. Not to discourage you, but to help you understand what's really happening. Because when you understand the purpose of your suffering, it transforms from meaningless pain into sacred initiation. By the end of this video, you'll see your struggles in a completely new light. You'll understand that your suffering isn't punishment, it's preparation. And you'll know exactly why the spiritual path is the hardest path, but also the most rewarding. Let's begin. Reason number 1, you're being cleared of karmic debt. The first reason spiritual people suffer more is because you're being cleared of karmic debt faster than others. You signed up for accelerated soul growth, and that means accelerated karma clearing. What is karmic debt? Karma is simple. What you put out comes back to you. If you've hurt people in this life or past lives, that energy needs to be balanced. If you've taken from others, you need to give back. If you've caused suffering, you need to experience it to understand it. Most people accumulate karma slowly and pay it back slowly over many lifetimes. But when you commit to a spiritual path, you're essentially saying to the universe, I'm ready to clear everything now. I want to evolve. I want to be free. And the universe responds, okay, let's settle all accounts. Why this hurts? Suddenly, everything you've ever done that wasn't aligned with love comes back to teach you. Not as punishment, but as education. You experience what you caused others to experience. You feel what you made others feel. This is how you develop compassion. This is how you understand the impact of your actions. It feels like you're being attacked. Like life is unfair. But actually, you're being given the opportunity to clear decades, maybe lifetimes, of karma in a short period. This is grace, not punishment. Non-spiritual people don't experience this. People who aren't on a spiritual path aren't asking for rapid evolution. So their karma comes back slowly, gently, spread out over many years or lifetimes. They don't face the intensity you face because they're not ready for it. You are ready. That's why it's happening. How to handle this? Accept it. When difficult things happen, ask yourself, what am I learning? What am I clearing? How is this making me more compassionate? Every challenge is a karmic debt being paid. Once it's paid, it's gone forever. And know this, the fact that you're clearing karma means you're being prepared for something big. A clear slate means you're ready for the next level. Reason number 2, you're more sensitive to energy. The second reason spiritual people suffer more is because you're more sensitive to energy. And this world is full of low vibration energy that affects you deeply. Heightened sensitivity. As you grow spiritually, your energy body becomes more refined. Your chakras open. Your intuition sharpens. Your empathy deepens. This is beautiful, but it also means you feel everything more intensely. You walk into a room and immediately sense the tension. You talk to someone and absorb their pain. You watch the news and feel the world's suffering in your body. You're like a tuning fork, vibrating in response to every frequency around you. The burden of empathy. Non-spiritual people have thicker energetic skin. They can witness suffering and not be deeply affected. They can be around negative people and not absorb it. They're naturally protected by their lower sensitivity. But you feel it all. You carry it all. And sometimes it's overwhelming. You might think you're depressed or anxious, but often you're just picking up everyone else's emotions. Energy vampires drain you. Because you're sensitive, energy vampires are drawn to you. They sense your light and feed off it. Toxic people, drama, negativity, they all gravitate towards spiritual people because you have what they lack. And every interaction drains you. You give and give and give because you're compassionate. But they take and take and take because they're empty. And you end up exhausted, wondering why life feels so hard. The gift within the curse. Your sensitivity is actually a superpower. It allows you to heal others, to understand deeply, to connect spiritually. But you need to learn to manage it. To shield yourself. To discern which energy is yours and which belongs to others. How to protect yourself. Ground daily. Visualize protective light around you. Learn to say no. Create energetic boundaries. Limit exposure to toxic people and environments. Your sensitivity is a gift, but only if you protect it. Reason number 3, you're breaking generational curses. The third reason spiritual people suffer more is because you're the one chosen to break generational curses in your family. And breaking cycles always comes with resistance. What are generational curses? These are patterns that repeat in families. Addiction. Poverty. Abuse. Toxic relationships. Mental illness. These patterns pass from parent to child like inherited diseases. Not because of genetics alone, but because of unhealed trauma and learned behaviors. Your family has been stuck in these cycles for generations. And then you came along. You woke up. You saw the patterns. And you decided to break them. Why you were chosen. Not everyone in a family has the strength to break generational patterns. Most people unconsciously repeat them. But you're different. Your soul is strong enough to face the darkness, to heal the wounds, to say, this ends with me. This isn't a burden. It's an honor. You're the chosen one. The cycle breaker. The healer of your bloodline. Why this causes suffering? When you try to break generational patterns, your family often resists. Not consciously, but energetically. They're comfortable with the dysfunction. It's familiar. Your change threatens their comfort. So they might criticize you. Mock your spiritual path. Try to pull you back into old patterns. They don't understand that you're trying to free them. They just feel threatened by your growth. The spiritual warfare. There's also spiritual resistance to breaking curses. The energy that created the pattern doesn't want to release its hold. So you face extra challenges. Extra temptations. Extra tests designed to make you give up and fall back into the cycle. The liberation. But when you persist, when you break through, you don't just free yourself. You free your ancestors. You free your descendants. You change your family's destiny. The suffering you endure now prevents generations of future suffering. How to stay strong. Remember why you're doing this. Understand that resistance means you're succeeding. Every challenge you overcome weakens the curse. Keep going. Your freedom is coming, and it will echo through time. Reason number 4, you see truth that others don't. The fourth reason spiritual people suffer more is because you see truth that others can't or won't see. And seeing truth in a world built on illusions is isolating and painful. The awakened vision. As you grow spiritually, you start seeing beyond the surface. You see the lies in advertising, the manipulation in media, the corruption in systems, the fakeness in people's personas, the matrix we all live in. You see how society is designed to keep people asleep, distracted, consuming. You see how broken most relationships are. How people are living inauthentic lives. How much suffering is unnecessary and man-made. The burden of knowing. This knowledge is heavy. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't go back to sleep. You're awake in a world where most people are sleepwalking. And that's lonely. You try to share what you see, but people think you're crazy. Negative. Paranoid. They don't want to hear it. They're comfortable in their illusions. Your truth threatens their comfort. The isolation. You start feeling disconnected from everyone. Small talk feels meaningless. Social gatherings feel shallow. You're thinking about consciousness, purpose, truth, and everyone else is talking about trivial things. You're not better than them. You're just at a different frequency. But being at that frequency while surrounded by lower ones is exhausting. The responsibility. Seeing truth comes with responsibility. You can't just see the problems and do nothing. Your conscience demands you live differently, speak differently, be differently. And that path is harder than conforming. The misunderstanding. People might label you as too serious, too intense, too deep. They don't understand that you've seen behind the curtain. You've tasted freedom. And you can't pretend to be satisfied with the prison anymore. Finding your tribe. The solution isn't to dumb yourself down. It's to find others who are awake. To build community with people who see what you see. They're out there. And when you find them, you'll realize your suffering had purpose, it led you to your real family. Reason number 5, you're being tested more severely. The fifth reason spiritual people suffer more is because the universe tests you more severely. Not to punish you, but because you're being prepared for greater purpose. The initiation process. Every spiritual tradition has initiation rituals. Vision quests. Trials by fire. Dark nights of the soul. These aren't arbitrary. They're designed to test whether you're truly ready for the power and responsibility that comes with spiritual advancement. You're going through modern initiation. Life is your trial. Every challenge is a test. And the tests get harder as you level up because the universe needs to know, can you be trusted with more? Greater capacity, greater testing. The universe knows your capacity. It knows how strong your soul is. So it gives you challenges that match your strength. This is actually respect, not cruelty. People with small capacity get small tests. People with great capacity get great tests. Your suffering indicates your strength, not your weakness. Testing your faith. Will you stay faithful when nothing makes sense? When prayers seem unanswered? When good intentions lead to bad outcomes? When you're doing everything right but everything's going wrong? This is the test. Not of your spirituality, but of your commitment to it. Anyone can be spiritual when life is good. Can you maintain your faith in the fire? Testing your character. Will you stay kind when others are cruel? Honest when lying would benefit you? Generous when you have little? Forgiving when you've been deeply hurt? These tests reveal who you really are. And they prepare you for leadership. Because you can't lead others through darkness if you haven't walked through it yourself. The purpose. You're being prepared for a role. A purpose. A mission. The suffering is stripping away everything false, everything weak, everything that won't serve you in that mission. It's harsh, but necessary. Trust the process. Every test you pass makes you stronger. Every trial you endure expands your capacity. The universe isn't trying to break you. It's trying to forge you into something unbreakable. Reason number 6, you're releasing collective pain. The 6th reason spiritual people suffer more is because you're processing and releasing collective pain. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing for humanity. The spiritual service. Highly spiritual people often serve as energetic cleaners for the collective. You absorb pain that isn't even yours, process it through your body and spirit, and release it transformed. This is unconscious spiritual service. You might feel waves of sadness for no reason. Deep grief that isn't connected to your life. Anxiety about things that haven't happened. This might not be yours. You might be processing collective trauma. The empath's burden. Empaths especially carry this burden. You feel the pain of the world. You cry for people you don't know. You grieve for injustices that didn't happen to you. You carry the weight of humanity's suffering. This isn't mental illness. This is spiritual sensitivity. You're a lightning rod for collective pain. It moves through you to be transmuted. Why you were chosen. Not everyone has the capacity to process collective pain. Most people can barely handle their own. But your soul is strong enough to hold more. To feel more. To heal more than just yourself. This is sacred work. Even though it hurts. Even though it's invisible. Even though nobody thanks you for it. You're doing something crucial for the evolution of consciousness. The physical toll. This can manifest as chronic illness, fatigue, pain without medical cause. Your body is literally processing energy. This is real. This is hard. And it's often misunderstood by medical professionals who can't see the energetic dimension. How to manage this? Understand what you're doing. Don't just suffer unconsciously. Consciously offer yourself as a vessel for healing. Then consciously release it. I process this pain, and I release it to be transformed. Ground yourself. Cleanse regularly. Don't carry what you're meant to channel. You're the pipe, not the reservoir. Let it flow through you, not stay in you. The honor. You're a healer. A light worker. A spiritual warrior. Your suffering serves the whole. And even though it's hard, it's holy. You're making the world lighter by carrying what others can't. Reason number 7, the universe targets you with harder lessons. The 7th reason spiritual people suffer more, and this is the big one, is because the universe literally targets you with harder lessons. You're on an accelerated path, so you get accelerated curriculum. The fast track. Think of spiritual evolution like school. Most people are taking the regular classes. Moving slowly through grades. Learning at a comfortable pace. But you signed up for advanced placement. Honors courses. Accelerated programs. You don't get easier lessons. You get harder ones. Not to punish you, but because you can handle them. And because you need them to reach the level you're destined for. Why the universe does this? The universe isn't cruel. But it is efficient. It looks at your soul and sees your potential. It sees how far you're meant to go. And it knows that to get there, you need intensive training. So it gives you challenges that would break others. Loss that would devastate others. Pain that would destroy others. Because it knows you can take it. And more importantly, it knows you need it. You asked for this. Before you incarnated, your soul made a choice. You chose the difficult path. You chose rapid evolution. You chose to experience everything necessary to reach enlightenment in this lifetime. Your ego doesn't remember making this choice. That's why it feels unfair. But your soul knows. Your soul volunteered for this intensity because it was ready for it. The spiritual physics. There's a principle: the stronger the pressure, the more valuable the diamond. Coal becomes diamond under extreme pressure. Your soul is being compressed into diamond form. The struggles you face aren't random. They're precisely calibrated to produce the transformation you need. Each one removes a layer of ego. Each one reveals more of your true self. Why others don't get this treatment? Most souls aren't ready for this level of intensity. They need more time. More lifetimes. Gentler lessons. And that's okay. Everyone evolves at their own pace. But you're here to speedrun spiritual evolution. That's your path. That's your choice. And yes, it's harder. But it's also faster. You'll reach in one lifetime what takes others 10. The validation. If you're suffering intensely on the spiritual path, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it right. It means the universe trusts you with hard lessons because it sees your capacity. Embrace it. Stop asking, why me? Start understanding, why now? You're being prepared. Refined. Forged. And when this process is complete, you'll emerge as something extraordinary. Reason number 8, you're shedding old identities. The 8th reason spiritual people suffer more is because you're constantly shedding old identities. And every death of self feels like dying, even though it's rebirth. The death of who you were. As you evolve spiritually, versions of yourself must die. The victim dies. The people-pleaser dies. The ego-driven achiever dies. The fearful child dies. Each identity you've built to survive has to be released. This is excruciating. These identities feel like you. Letting them go feels like losing yourself. And in a sense, you are. The old you is dying so the true you can emerge. The ego's resistance. Your ego doesn't want to die. It will fight to survive. It will create drama, fear, doubt, anything to keep you trapped in old patterns. When you're trying to evolve, your ego is trying to keep you the same. This internal war is exhausting. You feel split. Part of you wants to grow. Part of you wants to stay safe. This conflict creates suffering. The in-between state. The worst part is the transition. After you've released the old identity but before the new one fully forms, you exist in a void. You don't know who you are anymore. Everything feels uncertain. This is called the gap or the void. It's the space between death and rebirth. And it's terrifying because you have no ground to stand on. Everything you thought you knew about yourself is gone. Why this is necessary? You can't become who you're meant to be while clinging to who you've been. The caterpillar must dissolve in the cocoon before becoming a butterfly. You must do the same. Each identity death is making space. Clearing out old programming. Removing limitations. Creating room for your highest self to emerge. Multiple deaths. Spiritual people don't just go through this once. You go through multiple deaths and rebirths. Each level requires a new death. Each evolution demands a new release. This is why it feels like you're always struggling, always changing, always in transition. Because you are. You're on a path of constant transformation. How to navigate this? Grieve the old selves. They served you once. Honor them. But don't cling to them. Trust that something better is being born. Trust that who you're becoming is worth the pain of letting go. And know that each death brings you closer to your true self. The self that's been waiting beneath all these false identities. The self that's eternal, infinite, divine. Reason number 9, you have higher standards for yourself. The 9th reason spiritual people suffer more is because you have higher standards for yourself. And constantly reaching for those standards while falling short creates suffering. The inner perfectionist. Spiritual people often have an ideal version of themselves in mind. Perfectly peaceful. Always loving. Never reactive. Completely aligned. And you judge yourself harshly when you don't meet this impossible standard. You get angry and think, I shouldn't feel anger. I'm spiritual. You feel jealous and think, I should be above this. You make mistakes and think, I should know better by now. The self-judgment cycle. This creates a vicious cycle. You judge yourself for having human emotions. Then you feel bad about judging yourself. Then you judge yourself for feeling bad. The suffering multiplies. Non-spiritual people don't do this. They accept their flaws. They don't expect themselves to be enlightened. They're okay with being imperfect. This gives them peace you don't have. The shadow denial. Many spiritual people try to transcend their shadow instead of integrating it. You want to be only light. Only love. Only positive. But denying your shadow doesn't make it go away. It makes it stronger. When you can't accept your anger, sadness, fear, or selfishness, you create inner conflict. You're at war with yourself. And that war is exhausting. The comparison trap. You compare yourself to enlightened masters, spiritual teachers, saints. And you feel like a failure. But you're comparing your beginning to their end. You're comparing your mess to their highlight reel. This comparison robs you of self-compassion. You can't appreciate your progress because you're too busy focusing on how far you still have to go. The permission to be human. Here's the truth, you're allowed to be human while being spiritual. You're allowed to have bad days. To feel negative emotions. To make mistakes. To be imperfect. Spirituality doesn't mean transcending your humanity. It means embracing it fully while also connecting to your divinity. Both and, not either or. Self-compassion as practice. The solution is self-compassion. Treat yourself the way you'd treat a child learning to walk. With patience. With encouragement. With understanding when they fall. You're learning to be divine in human form. That's not easy. Give yourself credit for trying. Celebrate small wins. Forgive yourself for stumbles. You're doing better than you think. Reason number 10, you're preparing for a major mission. The 10th and final reason spiritual people suffer more is because you're being prepared for a major mission. Your soul came here to do something important, and that requires extreme preparation. The hero's journey. Every hero's journey begins with suffering. Jesus in the desert. Buddha under the tree. Moses in exile. They all went through intense trials before their mission began. You're on your own hero's journey. The suffering you're experiencing isn't random. It's the first act of your story. The preparation before the call. The training before the battle. Why preparation is harsh. Your mission requires skills that can only be developed through hardship. Compassion through pain. Wisdom through mistakes. Strength through challenges. Faith through doubt. If you hadn't suffered, you couldn't help others who suffer. If you hadn't been lost, you couldn't guide others who are lost. Your pain is giving you the tools you'll need for your purpose. The greater purpose. You're not suffering for no reason. You're suffering for a reason so important that your soul agreed to endure it. You came here to help people. To teach. To heal. To lead. To create change. But you can't do any of that until you've been through the fire yourself. You can't be a lighthouse until you've navigated the storm. The timing. Right now, you're in preparation phase. It feels like it's taking forever. It feels like nothing is happening. But everything is happening. You're being shaped, molded, refined, prepared. When the time is right, your mission will be revealed. The door will open. The call will come. And you'll be ready. All this suffering will suddenly make sense. The promise. Your breakthrough is coming. Your purpose will be revealed. Your suffering will transform into service. And people will look at you and wonder how you became so strong, so wise, so impactful. And you'll remember, it was the pain that made you powerful. It was the struggle that made you special. It was the suffering that prepared you for greatness. Hold on. If you're in the depths right now, hold on. Your mission is closer than you think. Every tear has purpose. Every trial has meaning. Every struggle is preparation. You were chosen for this. You're strong enough for this. And what's waiting on the other side of this suffering is worth every moment of pain. So there are the 10 reasons why extremely spiritual people often suffer more. You're clearing karmic debt faster. You're more sensitive to energy. You're breaking generational curses. You see truth others don't. You're being tested more severely. You're releasing collective pain. The universe targets you with harder lessons. You're shedding old identities. You have higher standards for yourself. You're preparing for a major mission. If you're suffering on the spiritual path, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it exactly right. Your pain has purpose. Your struggle has meaning. Your suffering is sacred. The spiritual path isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to transform you. And transformation always hurts. But what you're becoming is worth what you're going through. Remember, you were chosen for this path because your soul is strong enough. The universe doesn't give you more than you can handle. Your suffering is proof of your strength, not your weakness. One day, you'll look back at this time and understand why it all had to happen. You'll see how every piece fit together. How every struggle prepared you. How every loss made space for gain. Until then, keep going. Keep growing. Keep trusting. Your breakthrough is coming. If this video helped you understand your suffering, hit that like button. Comment below with which reason resonated most. Share this with another spiritual person who's struggling and needs to hear this. Subscribe for more content on the spiritual journey, truth, and transformation. Because your path matters. Your suffering matters. Your mission matters. You're not alone. And you're exactly where you need to be. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay strong, stay faithful, and trust the process. Your suffering is creating something beautiful.